look at the judgment, the court basically read out a prepared script. And in that prepared script, he mentioned something every law student knows is false, every international lawyer knows is false, even every civil jurisprudence knows is false, which is that, yes, that Nnamdi Kanu has, as a group, has a right to self-determination, which is a right under international law, but that it cannot override Nigerian law. What, I think he said Nigerian constitution. What that means is that there is a failure by the court, the Nigerian system, the judge, to recognize that there are certain things that we call jus cogens in law, meaning that they are laws that even your own constitution cannot derogate from. So you cannot say that he has a right under international law to self-determination, but it cannot override Nigerian law. That means you are contradicting yourself. It shows that you don't even know the law. And for the mere fact that not up to 24 hours or thereabout after the scripted judgment was pronounced, he was transferred to Sokoto, the seat of the caliphate. In fact, on the judgment, even before I reached there, to show you the kind of system that Nigeria is. When somebody is convicted, I think I need to clarify this point for our viewers. When somebody is convicted in law, there's always a report, a social report, before a sentence is pronounced. There are two different things, conviction and sentence. When somebody is convicted, then the next stage is to sentence the person. There is no generic sentence in law for everybody. It doesn't happen. And before a sentence can be fairly imposed, you need to look at the report of that person, the kind of report. You look at the circumstances of the person. You look at, by circumstances, I mean the person's family, the history of the person's health, the person's previous criminal convictions. You understand? You look at a whole lot of things before you can pronounce sentence. There is no court that are practicing that I know that has a pre-sentence report before conviction. It doesn't happen. The implication is that you have already decided to convict the person and then had a pre-sentence report before you then issued the conviction.
Hello. Good afternoon. This is Emeka Livingstone. Today is Sunday, the last day of the month of December. Praise God, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. There are things which I want to advise Ndigbo. Let us remain together as one under Nnamdi Kanu as the leader of Biafra. It is in this unity that our strength lies. Our enemies will see us and respect us. The other day, or was it yesterday, I heard some autopilot members were celebrating 1 year of Biafran independence. This is trash and nonsense. Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced to life imprisonment. He's the leader of IPOB. And you are here celebrating 1 year of Biafra. Which one? Is it Biafra in Finland or Biafra in Nigeria or Biafra in Alibo? We have not yet received our freedom. The bandits are everywhere. Instead of focusing on what we are doing, suddenly people are beginning to program and project themselves so that, in fact, they are looking for alternative to Nnamdi Kanu. And Nnamdi Kanu himself, if he wants to, but he's there. He has to say, this is my assistant, follow him. When he told us, listening to Simon Ekpa, he gave a condition: do not allow Satan enter you. And we listened and our eyes were open, one eye closed, one open. When he began to misbehave, we told him, because he ran contrary to the spirit of the Biafran struggle. Nnamdi Kanu is alive, sent to Sokoto on a life jail, a very wicked judgment, an evil judgment everybody in the whole world knows. And you are there, coming to position somebody that he is the Biafran prime minister and you 1 year of celebration. What kind of rebellion are you people doing? Why are you this wicked and insensitive? The man is languishing there. If you ever tie Nnamdi Kanu to Simon Ekpa, you discredit the whole Biafran struggle. Because Simon Ekpa was jailed for fraudulent activities. Do you understand? And for terrorism. In a country like Finland, that could be as transparent as possible. But in Nigeria, that could be so wicked and will find everything to point to Nnamdi Kanu so as to jail him, could not find one single fault. They couldn't even link Simon to him. For some, Nnamdi Kanu came out and said, whatever the guy in Finland is doing, I'm against it. It's evident. Those of you who are following Simon, you are the enemies of Biafra. We don't have any government. We don't have any republic. Nnamdi Kanu said it. So what are you people doing? DOS should come under Nnamdi Kanu. That's where they are. Everybody, people are strategically placing themselves so that tomorrow they will say it was us that did this, we did this. No, that's why God has allowed all our structures to collapse. He's just standing with Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, and they have taken him to jail. While he's there, his light will shine. He will start preaching. He will start talking. And even the Fulanis, I'm telling you, these headsmen, some of them one day will rise up and say, it is Nnamdi Kanu, no, free him. He's a true guy. They will even ask him that if he's going to be the president of Nigeria, he will agree. But we don't want it. And he doesn't want it. Because we have crossed the Rubicon. We're talking about Biafra, where the Arewa will have their own country, the Yorubas will have their own, and us will have our own. Biafra will have their own. If Middle Belt want to have their own, they can. If any other person want to have their own salsa, they can. And then to reign according to your own, grace and develop. When you begin to fight like this without Nnamdi Kanu appointing a successor, those of you who are fighting, you will only end up scattering everything. Because when you gather, listen, I was listening to this thing. Don Cornelius used to do Soul Train in 79, 78. The man ran it for many years. It was successful. But when he was getting older and he brought some young people, when the rap music started coming, certain young people were called into to take over. It was split into 3 different groups. And it is from them that the Soul Train vision died permanently. But when it was with Don Cornelius, he carried it on very well. Because those other 3 guys who came there did not follow his route personally like him, grooming successors. If he had groomed the successor, it would have been 1. But there were 3. That's why it's not working. So when you come to Biafra now, you have these people here, you have these people here. They don't want to autopilot, DOS, this other group that are meeting the government, this one that are talking, they go to court, blah, blah, blah. By the end of the day, even there are other groups that are still coming up. So I've met some, and I don't want to work with them. All I know is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He's the one that God ordained to run this struggle with us. Humble yourself. God saw you. He saw me. And raised Nnamdi Kanu. Why don't you listen to him and follow him? But the moment you raise up your own now, want to scatter and bring up your own idea, you spoil the whole thing. This is what I'm saying. All this nonsense that they said they are celebrating 1 year of independence of Biafra, that's trash. It's nonsense. It is these rebellious autopilot members. And Nnamdi Kanu will come out and will declare Biafra. I will see where people will stand. Because I personally will stand against you in the Biafran struggle. God bless you. God bless you. Stand in the truth. Amen.
Hello, my name is Councillor Ukono Obasi, based in the United Kingdom. I just wanted to make this video to react to the judgment made by the Nigerian court on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, where the court found him guilty of terrorism charges and sentenced him to life imprisonment. And I want to say this. It is wrong. It is very wrong. First of all, you have no jurisdiction to make that, to try the case in the first place. One, this is someone who was illegally detained, right? So you detain someone under the guise of having done something, and you found out that where he committed the alleged crime was outside of your jurisdiction. So by your own admission, this alleged crime was committed in the United Kingdom, and you're alleging that you have jurisdiction to charge someone for crimes that they committed in another jurisdiction that you have no power over. Second, okay, there's already a judgment that that shows that you tried to assassinate this person when he was a ward of the court. So there's a judgment against the Nigerian state. He did not jump bail. He escaped an assassination attempt. And in doing so, Nigeria broke international law to go to Kenya to abduct him, carry out extraordinary rendition to force him back to Nigeria against international law. And you cannot therefore have legality on the back of illegality. So once you have a situation where you've already broken the law to bring someone illegally into Nigeria, you don't have any basis to put that person on judgment. And then the crimes, the crimes you're even using to judge him on is one that you repealed. The Nigerian court repealed the very laws that they're charging him with. So how can you charge someone with a repealed law? It's not possible. It's not practical. And to cap up the hypocrisy of it, you have a country that is negotiating with terrorists, paying ransom to terrorists, cuddling terrorists, integrating them into the army, and saying that these people who have committed heinous crimes against the Nigerian people, against the Nigerian state, that these people should be free. They're allowed to be free. They enjoy money, wealth, protection, even from the Nigerian state. But someone who simply demanded self-determination through referendum for people who have been marginalized and continue to be marginalized, you're saying that you're going to sentence the person to life imprisonment. The world looks at Nigeria and it's a joke. It's a mockery. It's sad. It is unfortunate. But at the same time, it is not unexpected, because we know that Nigeria is a failed state by every definition. And it is behaving this way because it is a failed state. If it was a country that had legality, you wouldn't have a situation where this process was the joke that it is, a kangaroo court. If you had a sane process, you wouldn't have the victims of NSAS still being prosecuted. You wouldn't have no person sanctioned or punished for the massacre that occurred in October 2020 in Nigeria. You wouldn't have months and years of killings, kidnappings going on from community to one community to another, and nothing is being done to address it. You wouldn't have that in a sane society, and politicians still parading themselves as some kind of authority and legality in a country that obviously has failed in its responsibility to protect the people. So that is where Nigeria is. But the more they do this, the more they make the case for Biafra. The more they make the case why no sane people would want to be associated with such nonsense. They make the case for Biafra. They are the ones who demarcate Nigeria more than anybody. The Nigerian government is the one that demarcates Nigeria. So it is unfortunate, but it tells us exactly what we need to know about Nigeria, and even more reinforces the case for freedom for Biafrans. Thank you.